Good morning, this is Lisa at Art Journaling Adventures for Beginners, and today I made this adorable little pocket thing with 3 tags in it, and it was so easy and so much fun that I thought I would recreate it for you and show you how easy it is for those of you that are just getting started. What you will need to do this project is 1 piece of collage paper. This is a big piece, 12 by 12, but you could actually use an 8.5 by 11 sheet, and I think it's big enough to do that. You will need scissors or an X-Acto knife or both, a ruler, a hole punch. If you have archival ink or some kind of stamping ink, that would be fun. I use a makeup sponge with it. And I'm using some threads. You can use ribbon, yarn, you can use nothing. And then I have a couple of little embellishments to go along with it. So I've already marked off my paper, so it's ready to cut. But here's what you're going to need. You are going to need 1 piece that is approximately, this is not exact, 3.5 by 5, and you are going to need another piece that's 3.5. I don't know if you can see my outline, 3.5 by 2.5, and that's going to make your pocket, which is this piece and this front piece. And then after that, you're just going to cut 3 different tags, and they can be any width 1.5 to 2.5 inches wide up to 4 inches tall. So I'm going to pause and do my cutting, and then we'll be back. All right, so I have all my pieces cut. I will put the more details in the comment at the top of the post. I've cut 1 piece that's 3.5 by 5 inches, 1 piece that's 2.5 by 3.5 inches, and then I've cut my 3 tags. As you can see, they're a little bit different widths, no taller than 4.5 inches tall. So this big one can't be any taller than 4.5 inches tall. I'll show you why when we're done. And we're ready to go. I have cut my paper so that I can see pretty stuff. So I did position it on my paper, and I decided that I really wanted to see this little design. I like to have lots of curves in everything I do always has lots of curves. So I cut this piece, as you can see, with a decorative scissor on a curve. You don't have to. You can cut it completely square. I am going to cut mine with some kind of curvy scissor. And it's no big deal. I'm not going to be really fussy about it. I'm just cutting, and that way my top is not just straight just because that's how I like it. That's how I roll, but you can do it straight. So this makes our pocket. The first thing we are going to do is take if you have archival ink or any kind of stamp ink, you're going to take some kind of a sponge or cotton ball or whatever, and just kind of go along the edge. The reason you're doing this is because it will stand out once it's glued together, where, as you can see, kind of all blends in. So if I do some archival ink on here, it'll really stand out, and it'll make such a difference. And I'm not picky about this. Some people are kind of fussy about how they do this edging. I am not. I'm just kind of doing it. I'm using black on this. I probably should have used a dark brown, but I have decided that this is going to be fine. One of the reasons I did this project is because I'm a little overwhelmed right now in my house. My kitchen is being redone. We just got back from a trip, and also as though that's not enough, my heat pump broke. So it's 57 degrees in my house right now. And I'm just a little overwhelmed, and I felt like doing some art would really make me feel better and take my mind off of the fact that there's construction people in my house. And so I thought, well, what can I do that's kind of simple, because I don't really feel like I just don't have the mental capacity to take on a huge job. But, excuse me, this will keep me Had to get a swallow of tea there, had a little pick in my throat. This will keep me distracted and busy while they are doing their thing down there, and I don't have to think about it. All right, so we've got this all edged out. That's good enough because I'm covering up the bottom, so we don't need the bottom done. And you will see right away that it really makes a difference. Now I can see this little cut. Kind of wish that flower was poking through. And I may decide to move this down. Yes, I think I'm going to make this a little shorter. So you can play with it. This is not an exact science. I'm actually going to cut this off, and it's not going to be the size that I recommended just because I want to see that flower. All right, so we've got, this is our pocket. We're now going to glue it together. I don't know if you can see, but my outside pocket is a little bigger than the background. Here you can see better on this. And I like to, here, let's do it this way. I like to do that because then I can trim it up. If I cut the piece exact to begin with, and then it's too short, then I've got a problem. So I like to cut this little pocket piece just a little bit wider, and that way I can trim it off. So we're ready to go. We're just going to glue this. This is such an easy and fun project. I love it. I did one of these for my pen pal, Kimberly. The first one I did was for you. And I thought, you know what? This is so easy and so fun. I'm going to do this for the beginners that are trying to figure out how to get started, because this is the perfect easy project. All right, and then we're just going to glue this on. Like I said, I'm going to glue this a little low because I just want that little peak of flower there. And it probably means my glue, yeah, see, my glue is not lined up on the bottom. So I'm just going to wipe this glue off, and I'm going to shove it under here a little bit. I'll probably need a little more glue than that. As you can tell, I do not get really fussy about all this. Just kind of sticking it together, and that'll be good enough for me. I don't want to be fussy because that takes all the fun out of it. I just want to have fun playing. All right, so we've got that glued together, and as you can see, it's overhanging everywhere. So I'm going to take my scissors and trim that off. It's so cold in my house that my nose is running and it's dry, so my throat is picky. It's been hilarious here. And they won't get our piece for our furnace for a couple of days, so we are going to be 57 in my house for probably through Thanksgiving, which is going to be 4 days at least. So there you go. Got to figure out a way to make the time pass. All right, so that's my start. Now I've got, and as you can see, that was easy peasy. Anybody can do that. Next, we're ready to do our tags. I have 3 different tags. As you can see, they're all the same. Let me show you this one again. This is all the same paper. And when you put it all together, it kind of doesn't stand out. But when you edge all the pieces, look how pretty that is. I mean, that makes a really, really pretty little packet of tags. So that's what we're doing. So right now you can't tell the difference, but when we're all done, things will stand out. Just like we did with the, I have an extra pencil line here, so I'm going to erase that. Just like we did with our pocket and our background, I'm going to take my ink, my stamp pad again, and I am going to do all the edges just like I did with the other one. I want to make sure I get this kind of very definitely inked because it really needs to stand out for the background, so it doesn't just get lost. And I don't know if you can tell, but the edges are pretty done, and then I want to overlap it just a little bit. So I want to rub the very edge, but I also want that smudgy stuff to kind of overlap onto the paper a little bit. This side you can see better because it's the peachy color. And I thought I'd do this paper because it's a nice festive Thanksgiving-ish paper. It's a nice fall paper with acorns and pumpkins and stuff. All right, so that's our first tag. That's all done. And if you don't have archival ink, don't worry about it. You don't have to use ink. You can just use your tags. The only thing I would say is if you're using the tags that really blend into the background, you might want to back them then with a solid color. Make them too thick, and that way you'll have a solid color behind and they'll stand out. You can double them up or something. And what I did with this big piece of paper that I had, because I ran out of print, and plus the print was getting to be too much, my picture happened to have this plain piece. So I got a little piece I didn't cut off there. So I decided to use the plain piece kind of as a contrast so that it's all not the same busy print. But the busy print works as long as you can figure out a way to make it stand out. One tag stand out from the other and all the tags stand out from the background. As you can tell, this archival inking is not a science. It is really, really, and I'm getting it all over my hands. See my thumb? It's a mess. So if you don't like getting fussy and dirty, probably this is not your thing. This one I want to make particularly noticeable because it's just kind of plain. All right, so we have our 3 tags, and as you can already see, the edging makes them stand out really nicely. So we're done with that. And now it's ready to move on and do a little bit of the decorating. You could be done. So if you decide, you know what, that's all, that, like I'm done, that's good for me, then that's fine. At this point, you can find the center of your tag. This is 1 1/4. There's the center of my tag, 1 1/4, and I'm just going to do a hole punch at 1 1/4. All right. And this one is 1 3/4. I don't even know what half of 1 3/4 is. I'm going to have to eyeball it because I don't really care. I'm not that fussy. That looks good. Oh, got a little off center. That's okay. And this one is probably about this. You know what? I think I'm going to put this one upside down because I want to see the print. So we'll put this one up here. All right. So now we have our 3 tags. If you would like to put something more on them, you can. So I have over here, I have a little thing that says thankful. I think I'm going to put that on my big one. And I like the little cut edge on that. See that? I kind of like that. Don't care that it's covering stuff up. Kind of like it. So I'm just going to glue that right on there. And I can even use glue stick to do that. So let's just throw some glue stick on the back. Make sure it gets on the points. I'm going to cut the other edge off. Thankful. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So this little piece I am going to cut off. Easy peasy. And I might go back with my, I think I'm going to go back with my smudgy stuff and make sure that looks like everything else. So let's just get a little ink stamp on there and cover that up too. I could have actually you know what? I'm going to do that before it sticks too much. I'm going to do this whole edge because that'll really pop on that paper. If you're going to change your mind, you got to do it quick because usually the glues don't allow you to pick stuff back up. I'm frequently picking stuff back up. Sometimes I rip the whole page and then I got to do it all over again. I think that's going to be enough. Let's see. Yeah, that stands out nice. That's much better. All right, so that tag is done. We'll stick some kind of a ribbon or let's see what kind of, I use these embroidery threads, and I think I'm going to want something a little darker. So I think I'm going to use these 3 maybe. So I'm just going to use it to pull out a little bit and pull out a little bit and cut all 3 of them off. Sometimes I braid these, but today I'm keeping it really simple just because that's what I need in my life. Today I need stuff to be really, really simple because there's drills going downstairs and saws going downstairs and trucks in and out the front of my house, and I just need, the holiday is coming, so I just need simple. All right. And I'm just going to tie that in a knot. And when I use embroidery thread to make it kind of stand out, everything to me is making stuff stand out so it just doesn't get lost. That's going to need to be trimmed. A little too long. All right. And I like to open the threads up, and that way they don't look so, you know, embroidery thread's kind of fine. I like to open it up, and that way it kind of looks a little bit, I don't know if messy is the right word, but a little deconstructed, I guess is the right word. I like things to look a little deconstructed sometimes because I'm pretty, I tend to be pretty fussy and pretty exacting. So sometimes I feel like, you know what it needs to be, you need to have a little mayhem, a little chaos to mix it up a little bit. Just separating those out. My fingers are sticky from glue sticks, so they're not separating very well. All right, there we go. And as you can see, that kind of makes it's a little fussier. This side needs to be messed with a little bit to make it, but that one, see, that one's fun. All right, so that's tag done. And look, goes right in that's our biggest tag. And that's gonna go right in the pocket. And it looks like I might have made it a little bit too big. So I'm not gonna be picky about it, not gonna be worried about it. I don't care how much. I'm just gonna, where's my X-Acto knife? Ah, there it is. Just gonna cut off a piece off the bottom because I got it a little too long. And that's why you don't want it to be longer than 4.5 inches, because you don't want it sticking up there. That's better. See, we have a little bit showing up the top. So that's our first one. Our second one, I think because it has a little decoration, I'm probably not going to do anything to it. And it looks like I got all these a little tall. I would prefer that one was a little, maybe we'll stick this one in the back. Yep, that works. And this one, I think I'm going to put a pretty red, let's put the red one on it just for something different. Oh, my threads are all tight here. There we go. And I think I want a couple on that. And maybe I'll mix it with the green just to give it a little different, just break it up a little bit. All right, so we've got 2 of those. I probably should use something a little thicker in this, but this is what I got out for this project. So this is what I'm using. And I think because I want a little more, I'm just going to double it over. My green is not even there. There we go. All right, we'll cut that in half. And that just gives us 4 strings, and we're going to put that through the hole. There we go. Tie it off. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. Trim it off a little bit. Might even go back and trim those so they're not all exactly the same, because again, I like it kind of messy a little bit, but I don't want this video to get too long. So there we go, we got that one. And our last one is plain for me. I picked a plain one. And so I've just got a couple of little details here. I have a little pumpkin. So I think I need to edge that though. See how that kind of blends in and you can't see it? Let's see what happens when I edge it with this archival ink. Any black stamp pad will work. It doesn't have to be archival ink. It's just a name of this particular brand's ink pads. I would like this really dark. It looks like my archival ink may be getting down low. I might need another one. But once I'm done this, you'll see it'll really, really stand out. All right, get this little stem part done. Kind of need that really dark, so make sure it really pops. And look at that. Now you really see it. That looks great. Like that a lot. I might even put a little bit of this right on there. And as you can tell, I wasn't too fussy about it. And let's see, what else could I use on here? Because we want to, this one needs to be a little interesting. So let's see what we have. I have a little piece of kind of coordinating green. Let's stick that across there. Do I have a bigger piece? Yes, I have a bigger piece. Perfect. That's what we're going to do. This is a little bit, even a little bit torn, and I'm not going to worry about it. Where's the, does that turn over? There we go. We'll glue that down. and trim it off. Here we go. I had a little tear there. Just want to make sure it's all looking good. All right, and we're going to put some glue on here. Nothing fussy about this. Stick this on here. Let's put it right there. And let's put the pumpkin on. As you can see, not fussy. I got the pumpkin already. It came cut out already, so I didn't have to do anything there. I'm gonna stick this on. That's adorable. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. Let's trim off our little piece here. Snippity-doo-dah. And snip this side. Love it. Kind of wish I'd used the archival ink on there, but you know what? I'm going to be okay with it. And this one goes right in front. And I think I'm just going to put a plain brown. Just a plain brown so it looks nice against that cute little pumpkin stem. If I can find the end. Let's see where the end is. It looks like it may be the end. No. Well, this could take 100 years, and I don't want you guys to sit here watching me play how to find the end of the... there it is. All right, and I'm gonna make this kind of a lot because it's. So I'm gonna do 3 or 4 of these, just so we make sure we really see it. And let's stick this through. But this is something cute. You know, if you know somebody that does scrapbooking, or you know somebody that uses a bullet journal, this would be an ideal gift. You could make a couple of these for somebody, and they would love it if they were all, you know, coordinating patterns that you color they like. This would be very easy to do, and obviously not terribly time consuming. And it makes a really cute gift, or it's a great addition to your own art journaling project. I made this too short, so I am having a heck of a time getting this through. There we go, nice messy bow thing. And there you go, you are done. There is your little pocket with decorative tags. And I don't know how long it took, maybe 20 minutes, I don't know. But pretty easy, pretty quick to do. Hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please like, and if you make this project, please share it with me on Art Journaling Adventures for Beginners on my Facebook page.